Tesla is still, as I mentioned, strong, long recommendation until at least 206.77, which is the 200-day. Options that I have suggested, the time frame I have suggested, the price targets I have suggested, and this is really, really a fabulous. I'm done going down. 177 has to hold. Let me get above 182, break higher. It did. And now we've got this kind of on a weekly, a zone of support at 198.5, let's call it, to 208.5. But I think ultimately this is the 200-day that's going to tag.
This short clip is presented by Club. Club provides access to Samantha LaDuc and her team of professional macro and micro traders, analysts, and educators. Club is ideal for active traders, investors, and institutions who want Samantha's best-of-breed market timing calls across all asset classes and time frames like chase, swing, and trend. Get the trade before it happens. Sign up to Club now and get full access to daily live trading room with Samantha LaDuc, Slack trading desk with detailed analysis and trades, custom trade support when you need it, and much more. For more information, visit www.LaDucTrading.com/club.
Tesla's hot fire flames into that 206.77. That's just really, really good looking. Remember, I jokingly said, I don't need a lot of friends. I just need a few really good friends. So Tesla, very nice. And even though Tesla delivery set to fall a second straight quarter, doesn't matter. When they're in, they're in. Tesla's taking the baton, and you know how I feel about this. It can have a lot of shake and bake in this 200 area, which is also the kind of 100 week area. But big picture, if this stays with rotation, oversold becomes a nice continuation long into this 226 trend line resistance area from literally when they got included into the big run up in November of 2021. All right, so we're now at 206.77 for Tesla, right on schedule. This is really a strong mover from 177. We got 207, gyrate around here a little bit, overshoot. Would not be surprised if we overshoot into this 208.70 area. Look at the 100 week. Let's just figure that out exactly. So if you are in, for example, that recommended August, remember August, risk reversal, you need to protect it once it starts to digest. High of 207.55, but that's all that I wanted. 206.77, 200-day, beautiful. Doesn't mean it can't move a little higher into that 209, but that's definitely for today. That was exactly the price target. Beautiful. All right, remember my $200 calls are now $21.30. Let's call it $21.40. Bought the $200 calls for August on Tesla, suggested when it was sitting above here. Very, very, very nice. 177 would be the level it has to stay above. And then I said above 183, it tagged, stayed above, moved higher with price target literally of 209, literally of 209. That was on June 18th. It is now July 1st. You can see that particular bid in the calls is now 21.40, and the puts that I suggested, if you are into risk reversals and know how to defend, that's very important because you have to be right or it's going to go against pretty darn fast. The 180 puts are now $5. Selling the puts and buying the calls was very, very productive. It was nearly scratch, and that is now $16. $16 from scratch. A dime, a nickel, a quarter, but it has to work for it to have that type of outsized return. And I would now say absolutely needs to be protected because this is where shake and bake can occur. But we still have July, right? Until earnings, 7/17. You can always take the puts off and leave the August calls or sell some calls above, right? I still see the potential that this can head into 230. It's still a very, very strong chart. It just comes into a digestion area. And just warning, from $0 to $16, you got to protect that now. And a great way to do so would be to sell some 230 calls above it. Might even be a call spread, selling a call spread above it. You've got some options, but I definitely can see this heading to 230. Tesla just is the absolute ripper. Everybody is just rotating to Tesla. And by the way, 209 was my, I don't even know what to say. This thing is crazy. The thing is clearly kind of hell-bent on 217.65 as next weekly price target. It's all in here, right? Still got this here, risk reversal. Here are the price targets. Beautiful, beautiful 177 tag. You're at 198, 205.60, and I've got the white box, which means, and then an outsized move, but I didn't expect this to happen until earnings would be obviously above that pink line. So it's happening a little faster. It's happening a little faster. So deliveries were out. They're still delivering the most cars in the world. Relatively speaking, BYD is right close behind. Tesla did not stop in advance of the delivery data this morning. And this is very, 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 very bullish into this 226 area. I had suggested maybe selling some 230 calls out in time against this very bullish risk reversal, where I recommended selling the 180 puts and buying the 200 calls. This delivery data, we never know what it's going to be, but more importantly, we never know how the market's going to react to it. Well, guess what? Tesla's not resting. It has gapped firmly above the 200. It ran all the way to my price target on the daily, ran all the way up to my price target on the weekly, which was the 200, this kind of 209 area, 206.77 area, and now deliveries are out. Here was the next price target. I've posted this since June 18th. Next price target was the prior January high at 217.65, but I don't think it's going to be just done there. If we get this far, we're going to go up to that trend line. See this trend line from all the way up to November of 2021. Remember, it was included in the S&P. Hot fire flames. There's just no way not to make money in that. It was incredibly bullish. The option flow was like recently meaning they were coming in for Tesla in a big bad way. And I also pointed out on the 18th, this looked very much like a left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder. I do expect 226 to tag in time. I just didn't expect it would be all at once. This was recommended here. Needed to stay above 177 long on the weekly. It did great, opened beautifully, and now it has expanded even more, and I don't think it's done, but keep one thing really, really squarely in mind. See that 200 descending? That is going to take weeks to flatten and move higher. So as I mentioned also in the write-up on June 18th, I firmly expect it to move higher, but I think once it gets to a resistance level, either 226 or 237, it's going to be dumped hard. So right now, euphoria, play the euphoria. I think it could overshoot to 240 and then come right back down. Yeah, I literally have it here. June 18th, right here, 190, then 194. Once it clears this mosh pit of moving averages, it can head to 209, check. Once above 209, major weekly resistance, I can see potential to surprise by getting to 217.80. My upper ultimate price target is 237.40. And then I think bears will vigorously short again. Insane amount of Tesla options coming in. My head is exploding right here. Tesla, November $285 calls. They just bought. We're going to get up here now. I can clearly see that. I thought it might be before earnings. Well, I was wrong. But that risk reversal is crazy, stupid, profitable. The point I'm making is this is resistance. This is descending. To get back up here to 280, what they just bought, it has to digest first. So even if you do this head and shoulders, measured move. This is left shoulder, right? We talked about this. Left, head, right shoulder. So measured move at $67. All right. So this is measured move, believe it or not, of this whole structure. If then we can move back up into, literally that high, that area is the high in time. And that's exactly what they're going for right now. You can see that that's definitely a little bit of resistance area, trend line tag, you're it. If you did anything with this, the $200 calls, they're now 230. You want to sell calls against it. You still have that option up here. Obviously, 230 is where we just tagged. 240 would be outside. Earnings are still 717. Yeah, I'd say 30% stock increase is pretty decent. The $200 calls, if you're just straight $200 calls for July, they went from $650 to $31. I just don't see the reason not to take them off, honestly. I mean, these already hit a high of 38.50. They're down to 36.50. I think that's good enough as well. I really do. I think you're kind of pushing at this point. And the 180 puts, just to kind of show you, are 235. That's how much juice there is left to get. So you sold those and bought the $200 calls. This is how much juice is left to get out of those sold puts. Yesterday it was 440 and today let's call it 240. I just don't think there's so much benefit at this point. It's the trend line tag from November inclusion, the Tesla inclusion to the November high of 2021. It should digest.
Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more live trading room recap videos and other content.